This time on Roadkill, the muscle truck lives again, and we got twin turbos on the muscle boat, and we are running it till the rods fall out. Yeah, it's my old friend, the muscle truck. I built this thing way back in 2007. It's a 1974 Chevy short bed stepside, and I swapped in a LS6, which is an all aluminum LS-based engine. It's got MSD atomic EFI that they don't even make anymore, turbo 400 transmission, a gear vendor's overdrive in it, and I threw in a Ford 9-inch out of a 78 Ford F-100 pickup truck. This thing was originally on airbags. Right now it's got coil springs in the front, leaf springs in the back, Caltrax bars, and most importantly, does fantastic burnouts. It first appeared on Roadkill episode 18, way back when. That was the one where we hopped in it and we had some mini bikes and we went down and drag raced it and stuff. But the key to the whole episode was when Finnegan pointed out that this truck plays the music of my people.
Allow me to play for you the music of my people.
Yup, this thing is famous for its wicked exhaust note. Wow, this thing's loud. And the next time you saw it was when we went to the sand dunes with it and put some boggers on it and ended up hacking the fenders.
We'll save this piece, flange it, Zeus it back on there.
Yeah, he's just gonna make a flange and Zeus it right back on. It'll be mint.
After the sand dunes, it was Boatkill, the one where we hooked up the boat on a trailer on the muscle truck, dragged it down to Lake Elsinore, took the engine out of the truck, put it in the boat, went out on the boat for 20 minutes, took the engine back out of the boat, put it back in the truck, towed the whole mess home, and did epic trailer burnouts. And that's, of course, the impetus for what you're about to see in this whole episode. Meanwhile, the last time that you saw the muscle truck on Roadkill was episode 80, which was a muscle truck shootout of a whole bunch of vehicles. And naturally, the muscle truck wins because it is just the muscle truck. Problem is, after that, the company shipped this truck to Saudi Arabia for a car show. It rusted a bunch of stuff. And unfortunately, it's been sitting for so long that the entire fuel system is all gummed up. The brakes are trashed on it. The fenders are rusty. But on this episode, it will be a return to glory for the Roadkill muscle truck.
This looks like it went off-road again.
Yeah, you're right, it does.
Like it's got the sand again.
The whole fuel system on it is clogged with goo. The foam in the fuel cell, like, melted out. It's stuck in all the injectors. It's in all the lines. That's a disaster. And the brakes were all rusted together. Bed's off, but we need to put a whole fuel system on it and fix the brakes. Yeah, we're gonna make it better.
Yeah.
Let's pick it up.
Yeah, let's pick it up. This truck is legendary, and I'd like to go boating again. Specifically, I'd like to take Freiburger drag boat racing. And the last time we did any kind of boating was with this truck, and it was with my cousin's boat. So we're getting the band back together. We are going to hitch up the Renegade Rogers jet boat to the muscle truck, tow it to a racetrack in Arizona, then turbo the boat right there in the pits and try to qualify for the race and, of course, win, because we're all about winning. So first things first, fix everything that's wrong with the truck before we can tow that boat anywhere.
This is testimony to my master zip tie skills. This has been on here for years and on multiple continents. We need to get every fuel line out of the thing. Entire nitrous line, gone. Ooh, all of the foam inside the fuel cell is disintegrating. So it's in the whole system, the pump, the injectors, because there was no filter on the right side, and just everything. It's a mess.
This was all some really nice, expensive A&N plumbing back in the day. See how gritty that is?
Yep. Ooh, yucky. Those injectors are gonna be junk. Where'd all this dirt come from?
Klimas?
Yeah, I said that just hoping that the editor would pull a flashback of some epic dirt action.
Saudi Arabia?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yes!
Okay, that is free. There we go. Wow.
We go.
So much easier than working on the garage floor. Here's something everybody asks about on the muscle truck, which is how do you get that radical exhaust noise? Basically, it has mid-length headers on it that go into a 3-inch pipe, which is then stepped up to a 4-inch muffler. These are a Dynamax Race Bullet muffler, and then it comes back out of that into a 3-inch tailpipe, dumping at the ground, and there's no crossover. So there you go. That is the secret. Okay, regulator off.
Right now, Freiberger's over there replacing our old fuel pressure regulator with a brand new one from Aeromotive. I'm over here trying to get this O-ring fitting out of our return line. Yeah, that does not want to come apart. And we're gonna be buying a new fitting because of it, because that's junk.
Okay, next thing I'm gonna do is remove these fuel rails here because all of the injectors are gonna be filled with crud and we're gonna have to replace those or clean them or something. Okay, now that this is loose, this whole mess is full of bad gas and lots of wires. There we go. I sure hope I can remember where all those plugs go. So my task here is to change all these injectors. We got brand new ones. I think what we're gonna have to do here is transition into a time lapse because it's gonna take me a long time to figure this out. And I think I got this half ready to go. All of this junk goes over there.
The good news is if it doesn't work out at all on the way there, we've got a perfectly good parts motor in the drag boat.
Just swap it all out? What makes you think we're leaving here? I may have gotten everything back together. All we need now is a fuel crossover back here. And I think the upfront part of the job is done. We still have to mount that new fuel cell in the back and run all the lines and everything. But the hard part is me getting back out from under here. Ugh, season 10. Too many miles. Too many miles. Ow. Maybe put this on before you make it really high.
300 or 400 more pumps, we'll be there.
Man, I feel lazy not doing this on my back.
I mean, I can quit at any time if you're ready.
Go. We got it on 2.
Got it.
Handled. That was remarkably easy. There was so much crud in our old tank that it just wasn't practical to clean it out. And so we got a new fuel cell that had the same pattern. It unfortunately has a different fill tube and different pickup and vent location. So I don't know if it's gonna clear the bed or not, but at least we got it into the frame. So that's a start.
See that? That is a fuel system for a Freedom machine. This is gonna go right here, but only after I mount this right there. And then Freiberger can make a bunch of fuel lines and stuff, and it'll be awesome. Still warm.
Okay, there we go. Custom, that's gonna hit the ground when this thing wheelies. Okay, well on my way now to routing hose. I have replumbed this entire truck. I counted it up and I have done 12 hose ends on here, plus a bunch of other fittings and stuff. And so some of them are actually mismatched brands on the hose in the end and they didn't go together well. So I am not guaranteeing that they will not leak, but we're about to pour gas in it and turn on the electric fuel pump and find out. Which reminds me, I may have also screwed up all the electrical connections putting the EFI back on this thing.
Okay, she's electrified. Who's ready to find the leaks?
Pump is pumping.
Got fuel.
Got no leaks back here yet. It also sounds like it hasn't picked up yet. There, it's starting to. There we go. I'm good back here. How about you?
Yeah, we're good.
I can't even believe it. I didn't fail. There's not a single fuel leak. Next thing we have to find out is if all the EFI works and all that junk. So we got Kaylin in the cab. We're out here ready for the joy. Fire it up. Fuel pump. Whoa! today. I wonder if that has oil pressure and stuff.
It's not even smoking.
Wow, not bad. No oil pressure. No oil pressure. Well, there's that. Mike, find out if I have that plugged in. No, not that header's hot.
Only because I want to leave.
If the oil pressure gauge is the only thing I screwed up in the wiring, this is major win. Now that it runs, I think we're gonna be able to put the bed on it and drop it down. We've already got the brakes done, and we're out of here.
Please work.
You seized it!
Dude.
There we go. We're good.
We got oil?
Yeah, cool. All right, we have oil pressure.
Magic fingers.
Whew.
I'll take the credit for that.
Yeah, I like the muscle truck again.
Can we put the bed on and then leave? There's a large body of water with your name on it.
I don't know if you could call Lake Smell some more actual water.
I'll still boat there. I'm just not swimming in it. Like, if the Renegade was on fire, I wouldn't jump in the lake. All right, let's put the bed on. There we go.
There it is.
Yep.
Oh, dude.
Can we check underneath for the fittings?
This is centered. Right in that glorious hole.
Is it all the way down? No, these fittings hit. What's going on now is that the new AN fittings that I put in the top of the fuel cell are hitting the underside of the bed. So,
Truck sounds amazing, nothing is leaking. However, we went to put the bed back on the truck and our new fuel cell, because the fittings are in different places, all of the hoses on that fuel cell hit the bed. So we can't even put the bed on. So right now, Dave's down there trying to figure out, does he want to cut the bed, which is a very extreme option, or make new hoses and reroute them?
all right, I'm taking this hose apart and making a whole new one so that we can clear the underside of the bed. I hope this fixes it. I pretty much never want to make a hose end again after today.
Coming down.
Now the bed's got an inch to go and it's sitting on the hose. Yeah, that's no good. Neither of those are gonna work.
Yeah, they're both hitting now, even after rotating it.
Because it goes down much lower than it did before. Yeah, this is too tall and this is too tall.
I guess we cut.
I'm down.
Oh.
Woo! This is the part where Dave cries.
That's ideal.
That's self-clearanced.
I told you the brakes were junk on this thing. Man, they were all rusted from being on the ship home from Saudi. And so we replaced everything. Here's the Duralast proof. Rear brake drums, front pads. It's got calipers too, front rotors. Okay, those guys bolted the bed down. Kaylin made this piece of wood so that I can affix that here and our luggage won't fly out. So once I'm done with that, I think we're ready to hit the road, or at least try to hit the road. Ah.
That is the music of my people.
There you go.
Let's go.
That's what I was waiting for.
It sounds smooth. Like, it's running better than I think it ever has.
Might be. New plugs, new injectors, no crud in them, no sand. I feel obligated to do a burnout in the muscle truck.
Give the people what they want. That definitely woke that guy up in the RV. No way he didn't hear that.
It was doing a little dance. All right, let's go get that boat.
Let's go boating.
You know what? This whole episode feels like a remake.
We're just picking up where we left off, you know? We tried to go racing the last time we were here. It didn't work out.
There it is. It's a familiar sight.
So majestic.
It's pretty good. Cool.
The Renegade.
So what engine is this?
So this is a Chevrolet Performance CT 525, which is...
Oh, circle track.
So it's 376 cubic inches,
Yep.
525 horsepower. I think it makes about 550, 570 right now.
Yeah.
Probably not fast enough for what we want to do this week.
But theoretically, it runs and drives as is, and we're going to go out in the green water, and then all will be well with the world.
That's a lot of pressure on me. Yes, yes, sure.
All right, we're going to go drop this junk in the water, see if it floats.
All right, it's floating. It floats.
All right.
Dead battery, dude.
No way.
Battery's dead. Oh, wait, hold on. I think the battery switch was off. That's weird.
There we go. Ha-ha, I was faking it.
No, I
See what
wasn't.
he did there? Ha-ha.
I was not. I wouldn't do that. So,
This episode's going absurdly well. It makes no sense.
okay.
You gonna disconnect?
Yeah.
You're gonna make me walk in green water.
Yeah, it's only fair that maybe your ankles get a little wet. So.
All right, are we ready for action?
Oh, dude, she's ready.
I've been here before.
Does it feel familiar?
Yes.
All right, reverse. Come on, boat.
Boom. This is gonna be a little spunkier than Dulcich's Chrysler 318.
What?
Yeah.
All that's missing now is a cooler full of beer and the ladies.
I feel I should be wearing this.
Uh-oh.
Did you put gas in it? Did you turn on the electric fuel pump?
Yeah, the switches are up. What's that? All right.
Yeah.
This feels familiar. Well, if we wait long enough, we're really only 50 feet from the ramp. Maybe we'll
It'll float in.
maybe we'll make it back. Hit the squirter, see if you feel any fuel.
Yes, it has fuel.
Oh, is the throttle linkage hooked up? No.
That could be a thing.
The gas pedal's not hooked up to the carburetors.
Can we make that happen?
Yeah, you know who did that?
You.
Me, because I disconnected it to try to figure out linkage for later on for the turbos.
Oh, you're right. There's absolutely nothing here.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm giving it a lot of gas. Nothing's happening up here.
Can you by hand?
Yeah, put the bolt through it.
There we go. We got this. We're good at this. Okay, way better.
It's working!
Here we go.
Do me a favor and keep it running. I think it's about to overheat. I want to see if there's any water coming out. Okay, set it off. Yeah, there's no water running through the motor. It's squirting out of the jet pump through the hoses into the motor. There's water, but there's no water coming out of the motor right now. Oh, valve.
Okay, here's the whole situation. As you've seen it over the past hour or so, we had that initial fuel problem at the dock. The fuel pump wasn't picking up. We finally made that happen. It was no big deal. Then we have a problem with the boat overheating. There's no water circulating through the thing. And so Mike took apart a bunch of the plumbing system, and apparently we're not getting water from the pump through the transom into the engine at all. No. Nothing. So we've got our crew hooking us up to a rope right now. Mike is sitting on the front of the boat going to hold the rope, and I'm going to laugh riotously when he gets pulled into the water.
Don't push me in, I'll get run over by a boat that doesn't even run.
This is
I
fun.
feel stuff growing on me now. Oh, good, now I know I'm safe. Well, today is going about as well as it always goes here on Roadkill. Backed the boat into the water. Miraculously, it did not leak, but then we drove the boat that way out of the no-wake zone, and I noticed the engine was getting really hot. It was overheating. So while we were out on the water, we borrowed some tools, disassembled the front end of the cooling system, and realized that when we fired the engine up, there was no water coming out. So no water from the jet drive going to the engine, that's bad. That engine is directly coupled to this jet drive. So anytime that engine is spinning like this, the impeller inside this jet drive is also spinning like this. And because it's connected to a shaft and a hole in the bottom of the boat, it's actually sucking water out of the lake through the bottom of the boat here and squeezing it out the back of the jet drive. And that's what propels the boat forward. It also provides cooling water to the engine. There's no water pump on the engine. It's also forcing water out of this hole here, through this hose, into the boat, to the front of the motor. Although the boat moves forward and the jet drive we know is spinning, there's no water going to the engine. So I'm gonna take this hose off right now and see if maybe it's clogged up or something. Oh, that's not good. All right, there's no obstruction there. Oh, wow. I might have found the answer. Yep, she's clogged. Oh, this valve, which goes in between the jet drive and the front of the engine, is 100% plugged up and will not allow water to pass through it. Thank goodness for gauges this time on Roadkill, because had we not seen that, we would have gone legged out of pass, hot dogged all over that lake, and melted this engine down before we ever got to have any real fun with it. I can fix this. I can just take this in Lake Elsinore and shake it all about. Oh, come look at this. That's disgusting. Ah, but look at it now. You can see right through it. Cooling system is 100% back together. Now we need to dunk the boat back in the lake, fire it up on the trailer, and see if there's water peeing out of more than just the jet drive. We're ready to boat. God, this is gonna be fun. It's your time to shine.
Finally.
You got a good, strong stream. Engage.
It worked. It works. All good. Just remember, if you throw me out of the boat, your phone is in my pocket. Just so you know.
Well, can you imagine if we hadn't have done that test?
Dude, that would have been a disaster. Like, we're gonna go to a legit drag boat race, and we would have gone there with a boat that would have overheated instantly.
Yeah.
No fuel pump working. Like, it would have been bad.
No water. Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Could have been worse. All right, let's load up this junk and drive that muscle truck to Arizona somewhere.
Arizona.
Yeah. The muscle truck made it with boat attached. We're here at the Arizona Drag Boat Association event, their spring event at Hidden Lake, which is around Buckeye, Arizona, which is around Phoenix, which is around 90-something degrees.
Look at this. This is clean water. This isn't Elsinore.
So what's the plan?
We still have to get through tech, and we can't get through tech until we put the safety junk on. We can't put the safety junk on until the turbos are on.
Logic.
Yeah. So all day long today, we're gonna be wrenching while boats are going by really fast. It's a lot like car racing, but way crazier. All these people here are nutty enough to basically bolt high horsepower to a surfboard. They're gonna hold onto a rope. That guy in the middle is gonna ask them if they're ready, and when they're ready, they'll give thumbs up, they'll start their motors. There's an amber bulb 125 feet in front of them that's gonna flash for 30 seconds. You're warming your motor up then, right? Then it goes solid and a clock counts down from 20, and essentially, while holding onto a rope with no brakes and adjusting for the wind and whatever else is going on, you pick a number and leave and get a running start at the beams. that are about 125 feet in front of you, and you try to cross exactly when the clock goes 0.
So basically it's like asphalt roll racing, except for the track is moving around underneath you.
Yes.
I don't think you guys yet realize how much work we have ahead of us in order to put twin turbos on the LS motor in the boat and convert it to EFI at the same time and make all of that junk work. I would just want to see a pair go down, and then we can go wrench.
Okay. Say goodbye to naturally aspirated Renegade.
Bye.
Yeah. We're about to take the headers, the carbs, the tunnel ram, all of this goes off so we can turbocharge this beast. Before you get too crazy, the fastest boat on the property is right there. $533, 176. Whew.
It just doesn't look that fast. I don't know why.
That's because it's not a Renegade, I mean.
That's why.
Yeah.
My beloved tunnel ram, gone.
We're just gonna swap it for an even cooler tunnel ram. We're gonna make big horsepower here. We are going to swap our current Holley High Ram tunnel ram for this Holley High Ram, which has a shearer fab intercooler sandwiched between the top and the bottom half. They're good for like 1,800 horsepower. They will control your air inlet temp with water. And because we're going boating, we have an abundance of lake water to feed to this intercooler. It also has fuel rails and injectors. Basically, this setup is for EFI. In true Roadkill fashion, we have a pair of truck stock exhaust manifolds, which we're going to flip upside down and point backwards. And then we have this very sloppily fabricated but totally effective T3 flange going to a GT35 turbo here, and then a whole lot of hose clamps and silicone connectors to somehow plumb all of this together and shove 10 pounds of boost right down the throat of our LS3. We've not ever installed this stuff in this boat, so things like throttle linkage and plumbing probably gonna be an issue and probably stop us from making any passes here today. But tomorrow, game on.
And right there, kaboom. And yes, we just installed that backwards. It's because the turbos are gonna go here, I assume?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
all right, I'm bolting it down. Okay, these are stock exhaust manifolds flipped upside down. Very standard technique for LS turbo stuff, except for they're backwards, putting the turbo in the back, unlike what you would do on a car.
Right now we're shifting gears. We're missing the gaskets and a couple of bolts to mount our turbos, so we decided to plumb the fuel system. We're abandoning the fuel cells that are in the sides of the boat and going right to a Jazz 5-gallon fuel cell mounted here with a Holley drop-in EFI fuel pump. This will support up to 1,300 horsepower. Basically drag racing in one little thing right here. We don't have gaskets, so we're just gonna use the copper here and cross our fingers. I'm thinking this goes this way.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's put both of them on, and before we lock them down, we'll put this in the middle, and then...
Okay.
Okay. It's gonna go here. We'll go here. That is tight. I think it's gonna work.
I like it. Here's what I'm working on. See these connectors that go onto the injectors? So there's 8 of them. Well, normally they've got that little bail on them that connects to the little ear and you press on them to get them out. Well, the problem is that bail is fully in place and I stick it on there and pop, it just comes right off. And so what I'm doing so it doesn't pop off on Mike in the middle of a race is zip tie magic. I've got one around the base of the injector. I've got another one up here around the connector and a third holding those two together. And so, Bamarooney, you cannot get that to fall apart. Well, Finnegan might be able to, depending on how far he flies the boat. But in normal circumstances, that'll be just fine.
Looky, looky, 2 turbos, 1 intake. We are trucking right along. Currently, Freiberger is cleaning out every fuel line we made earlier today. I'm about to jump on the wiring. We might not be able to fire the motor tonight, so we've got all day tomorrow to get it running, get me in the boat, get me licensed, and then make a qualifying pass. So I feel good. I feel good. We're gonna make it.
Good morning from the surface of the sun.
I feel good. I do. They're gonna have an hour and a half of test and tune again this morning, and then they'll go right into qualifying. We'll probably miss first round because there's about 2 more hours worth of work before we can find out what's actually wrong.
What do we have to do?
So we have to take apart the wiring harness, move those around, replug everything in, and then we need to make a throttle linkage.
And then hoping it runs with the computer program and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then if it runs, then we need to nut and bolt the whole thing and build a rope deflector for the starting line. Then we need to go past tech inspection.
All right, let's wrench. I'm working on throttle cable stuff. It uses a throttle body very similar to like an older GM one with this pivot on it. Normally, the cable would go in the top and it would pull, but the boat cable pushes. Fortunately, there's another hole at the bottom, and so I can mount this cable right here, have it push the bottom and get wide open throttle. So what I need to do is make a bracket off of the tunnel ram here, fold it over so that there's a clamp that holds the cable right there. To do that, another racer had this fine unit right here, which is going to be the donor metal in order to make that bracket. So I just got to start measuring, cutting, bending. Here's the next step in the throttle bracket. I need to put a 90-degree bend in it. And so I'm under the front of our crack house on wheels here, our lovely RV, and I am going to clamp this thing onto this flange so that I can use that steel as a die to bend this over. I butchered this.
Well, we are rapidly running out of time here. Qualifying is almost over. Our engine still doesn't run, but we are very close. Freiberger is working on the throttle cable mount. I've got the engine wired. We have a program in our ECU, and I need to set the nozzle angle of the jet drive because that is a critical item in running a jet boat. So I'm looking to have this point down 2 degrees from 0 for the whole shot to kind of make it leave the starting line flat. Then once it's on plane, I want the nozzle to come up to about 6 degrees to snap the nose of the boat up out of the water and carry it down track. So I'm just gonna throw something in here that's safe, probably 2 degrees down and 5 up, and then I'm gonna cross my fingers. We'll still have fun, but we might lose the shot.
I think this is the final installation on this bracket. It is not my proudest work. Ugly but functional, kind of like me. The moment's finally here. We're gonna find out if we can make it run.
Try it. Okay, hold on. It has fuel. Try it again. Okay.
We never set the TPS.
Nah, I did it when you weren't here.
Okay.
Go ahead and cycle it on and off.
Off.
Okay.
On.
Go ahead.
For about half an hour, we've been trying to start this thing, like cranking it, testing wires, getting out the laptop, getting on the phone, and it turns out we had one wire that feeds power to both the coils and the injectors that we hadn't hooked up. So I'm pretty confident that at this point, we're gonna flip this switch and stab that button, and this thing's gonna make noise. Here we go. Cycling the fuel pump, and there we go.
Okay.
Woohoo!
All right.
So now Mike's gonna go in the laptop and undo all the stuff that we screwed up while we were troubleshooting, taking like blind guesses. And I guess once that's fixed, it'll run.
Cycle the key and then start it.
Off, on, fuel pump, firing.
So let's do rope deflector. We'll get a warm-up bucket hooked up to it.
Okay.
And then try to get it teched. They're willing to let us hot lap twice today if we can hurry in the next hour.
Okay.
Which is awesome. Look, it runs. It doesn't run good, but it runs.
This is it. Be safe, have fun, go fast.
Let's go. This boat is filthy. This turbo setup is cobbled together with a lot of junk and some really nice stuff. We haven't tested nothing. Qualifying just ended, but they're gonna let me go anyway. I hope it works. Whew.
This is it. What Finnegan claimed he's gonna do is do a half-track pass on the very first one here, and they're actually gonna let him just unload out of the big end and drive the trailer right back and drop him in and let him go a second time. So we really appreciate Arizona Drag Boat Association accommodating us in normal roadkill fashion. We pulled strings to be able to run at the very, very, very last second after the rest of the meet was shut down.
All right, baby, start. It's out of gear.
Finnegan is wearing this entire getup, and then he's wearing a Hans device, and then he's got to wear this whole ballistic jacket and everything, which is legitimately so that he doesn't get the world's worst enema if he gets thrown out of the boat. I think he's probably messing with the shifter.
I think it's in gear.
What he has to do is get that handle so that it will have a nice neutral so that it's not tugging against him at the rope.
There we go. All right, I'm idling up to the rope, which is what you hold on to in a drag boat race to start the race because you got no brakes. I'm gonna start it, and then I got 30 seconds to warm it up.
Let's see what it does.
All right, boat's floating. The water's really calm right now. Like if you're gonna turbo your boat in the pits and drive it for the first time, these are the conditions you want. Okay, here we go. Okay, that was aggressive and hairy.
It was blowing black smoke and misfiring, so he got out of it. Let's go down to the out ramp.
For a split second, this thing wanted a haul butt, but it was a handful. As soon as it launched, it started fishtailing. And that's a problem with when the nozzle on the jet pump is coming up. It started making power way before I could get the nozzle up, so I'm gonna have to work on that.
Was that tune-up or rev limiter?
It bounced off the rev limiter.
Yes.
Yeah.
It blew a whole bunch of smoke.
It makes power.
Yeah?
Good God, yeah, like I put it in drive, forward, and before I could even get to the steering wheel to raise the trim on the back, the boost was already there, and it was bow steering like this. So I had to lift. It's a handful. We're not getting a license with that, but we get to go again.
Right, okay,
So,
cool.
But I'll try to drive better.
This is better than I thought. I was concerned that all that black smoke and misfire was a tune-up problem. Mike says that he just got on it and made power and straight to the rev limiter. And so fortunately, we don't have to mess with it. Wiley's pouring some more E85 in the tank, and then we're gonna drag it right back to the starting line and go again.
Okay, so new plan. Roll into the throttle so that the pump doesn't cavitate and the motor doesn't bounce off the rev limiter. Get it to get on plane and then hit it. Thank you. All right, boat, let's do this.
Here we go again. As a reminder, this is theoretically a licensing pass. He's still only supposed to go to half track.
All right, here comes the countdown.
I don't know anything about drag boat racing. That looked like it was a little bit squirrely to me, but let's go talk to him.
I tell you what, it leaves hard, but it's a handful after that. All right, we did it. We turboed this boat in the pits. Now we need to somehow tune it.
What'd you learn now?
It's lean.
Yeah?
Yeah, the popping wasn't the rev limiter. It's lean. It's like the Rotson. For a split second, you're like, hold on.
Yeah.
And then bang, 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 bang. Let's get beers and stare at a laptop.
Beers is a good idea right now.
Yeah.
Well, Mike was able to drive the boat around on the lake just a little bit after that pass and confirmed that all that misfire is in fact a tune-up problem. And so his suggestion was go drink way too much beer and get on the computer and try and solve it. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yesterday was awesome. After a day and a half of just utter thrashing and learning on how to turbo this boat, we finally got it on the water. We made 2 hole shots. Neither one of them were good. However, we didn't kick the rods out and the boat didn't sink. Finally, we came back to the pit, plugged the laptop, and thank goodness it data logged everything that would happen on the water, and we learned it's not lean.
I was just hitting the rev limiter out of the hole. We didn't know what kind of RPM the motor would turn. When it was naturally aspirated, it turned about 5,200 RPM. It gained 1,000 RPM with the turbos, and so it was turning 6,300 RPM, which is exactly where the rev limiter was set. So we're gonna raise the rev limiter to 7,000, and it will probably tag that out of the hole during the hole shot when there's no load on the motor. But eventually, when you get enough water going in the jet drive, it'll stop the motor from accelerating. It shouldn't hit 7,000, and it should go down the racetrack.
And the other thing I'm gonna do is take that switch that moves the nozzle up and down and move it to the other side of the steering wheel.
Yeah, because I'm basically holding onto that rope waiting to go. So what you have to do as a driver is let go of the rope, hope the boat doesn't move, and when you see your number, put it in forward, mash the gas pedal, and then try to get this hand back to the steering wheel to push up on that button that controls the nozzle of the jet drive. And if you don't do that quick enough, which I wasn't doing quick enough yesterday, the nozzle points down, the boat kind of drives on the bow of the boat, right on the front part on the keel, and it fishtails all the way down the track until you can push up on the button and raise the nozzle. So by moving the button to the right side of the wheel, I'll just go forward and on the button immediately. It should work better.
Didn't take much to get the boat prepped, and they've opened it up for 2 hours of test and tune this morning. I thought we were gonna go straight into racing, so this is good for Finn.
Woohoo! Let's go boating. Hey, good morning. How you doing? Man, I'm in a boat on a lake. I'm doing all right.
As a reminder, we're at Hidden Lake in Arizona. It's around Buckeye, Arizona, and it's very shallow. The thing that makes that good for drag boat racing is the more shallow the water, the less you get waves. It's not choppy, so it's nice and smooth for racing. Okay, there he is in the right-hand lane, the one closest to us.
All right, here we go. This is my first test and tune pass on Sunday. I'm gonna try to cut a good light here. Try to go further than, a couple hundred feet.
That did not run well.
Holy crap. Oh my God, I think it just kicked the rods out of this engine. There is oil everywhere.
I'm hearing over the radio that Finnegan said in his little mic that he thinks he kicked the rods out of it and there's oil everywhere.
Oh, we're done, dude. It is done, dude. It just kicked the rod right through the side of the pan. Bob, I've blown up a lot of Hemis, but I've never done that before.
I heard him just say it. He goes, it kicked a rod. Well, I guess the only hope he's got now is that one didn't go through the bottom of the boat and it's not going down. Did it kick a rod?
Rod gone!
Seriously? Unreal. It actually blew up the motor. That is a first on Roadkill, to actually have parts completely outside the block.
We just got roadkill, Bob.
That's roadkill.
It didn't sound right when it was idling, and I'm like, maybe I'm just hearing things. I just blew up Cousin Randy's motor in his boat. I did not see that coming. Well, you want the good news or the bad news?
All of the news.
The good news is when it broke, I was at the starting line, not going fast, and not at the finish line going 100 where I was gonna get thrown in the water.
Yeah.
The bad news is when it booted the rod out, it didn't go through the pan, it went through the side of the aluminum block.
Oh.
So it is junk.
There's no amount of JB Weld that can fix it?
I've never broken anything like this.
I don't think on Roadkill we've ever hucked a rod out of anything before.
That was a nice motor.
Yeah, it was a nice
It
motor.
was a really nice motor. The turbos didn't fall off. They're still on there. I feel good about what we did.
Wow, the one time we don't do anything dirt cheap, and look what happens.
It's time for a confession. I have never killed an engine as bad as I did that little old LS3. And right about now, you're asking yourself one question. Why would they go to all that trouble just to kick the rods out at the starting line? It's easy, because we had to know if we could. We had to find out what happens when you drag a classic jet boat to a drag boat race and try to turbo it right there in the pits. And it wasn't all bad. we brought two of our favorite projects back from the dead. The muscle truck did not run, and now it's ready to tackle whatever ridiculous terrain is next. And thanks to us, Cousin Randy's jet boat ripped across Lake Elsinore for the first time in nearly 8 years. Sure, the LS has a hole inside of the block you could stick a watermelon through, but while it was running, you couldn't remove the grins from our faces with a bazooka. Do I know why the engine broke? Nope. Do I feel guilty that the Pistons tried to become astronauts? Yeah, a little bit, which is why when all was said and done, I bought the boat from Randy and drug its broken carcass back to Georgia with me. The little Renegade is like the Ratson, and I can see past the destruction and spot its true potential. I do see us hitting that 100-mile-an-hour mark someday, and when we do, you might see that feat on a future episode of Roadkill.
And do a little spring cleaning.
Yeah, there's a little of that. Oh, don't dirty the lake with that. Come on.
I might be helping the ecosystem.
We're introducing a new species that will die. Ah.
Whoa. I don't know what that was, but it was floating, and at one point it was alive, but it isn't now.